Can you guys believe it that it has already been 5 years since the Nintendo Switch presentation 2017? Well, it kind of snuck up on me, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot of people talking about it on Twitter today, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of reminisce, watch some of the old trailers, skip through the entire presentation, not watch the entire thing, but skip through it and kind of reminisce and just talk about this thing, because the fact that it has been 5 years almost since the Nintendo Switch launched is absolutely heartbreaking to me. It feels like just yesterday I was unboxing that thing on my midnight release on March 3rd, you know, it just feels so recent, and the fact that it's been 5 years almost now, about 2 months away from it actually being 5 years since it released, is just crazy to me. So let's react to this thing, talk about it, reminisce about the good old days, and let's just do it. Alright, so I pulled up this entire full-length presentation. I remember because it aired at a, like, morning time in Japan, so it was, like, midnight for me on the East Coast at the time. I live on the West Coast now. So it was absolutely, dude, I stayed up. I stayed up. I was so hyped. And then I remember when they announced this like 2 months prior. So it was like a big deal when this was happening. I told my grandmother, because I didn't have a car or anything. I couldn't drive. I told my grandmother, like, okay, there's a Nintendo event. I'm probably going to need to go to GameStop tomorrow morning to pre-order something. There's that bump in music. I don't want to get copyright struck, so we're going to skip this. So good vibes. Here's Kimishima, the former president of Nintendo. He retired. Or I'm not sure if he retired. He might have just stepped down from the president, because it was like a temporary thing because of the passing of Iwata, of course. At the start of it, he kind of just went over what we already knew at that point. But then he got into actual release date. Everybody was expecting, I think it was March 24th, 2017. Because based on their sales predictions, we were like, well, if it's that early, then it's kind of lackluster sales predictions for them. But then we got the price. A lot of people were expecting $250. I was always in the 300 or maybe even 350 camp. I think given the success of it now, they probably could have gotten away with 350. They're probably honestly kind of annoyed they didn't. And that might even be why the OLED exists, because they're like, well, damn, we could have sold this for 350. Then you got into the online service. This was a big deal too. Then no region locking. That was also a major thing. It was just interesting how they front loaded it with this information. This is kind of stuff that would be in press releases or you know, at the end of the presentation, like the price and release date for the console. But then, yeah, we did a lot of overview stuff before we get into the games, and showing off the Joycon. I think this is the first time, or actually, no, we saw Mario Kart 8 in the Switch reveal trailer, but, then Koizumi comes out, shows off the Joy-Con, and like this entire presentation, like, it's well done. Looking back, it is actually a really good presentation in terms of like reveals, I think, in my opinion, for first-party games and even third-party stuff. But the presentation is just really weird. Of course, iconically, there was the really bad translator, and then the next day, a Nintendo like translator hiring post popped up because he couldn't understand Suda51, because I guess Suda51 didn't go on script for his No More Heroes segment. So that was obviously iconic. But yeah, here's Koizumi just showing the Joy-Con. This is our first like really up close look. For a while there, we were like speculating, would there be buttons in there? I'm just rambling, but this is fun to me. I love reminiscing about this. Okay, here's the iconic Koizumi Lang. You can play like this, guys. Iconic. Of course, I think a lot of people actually do that. I myself, when I play with my Joy-Con separately, I actually do. It's nice having that freedom, you know, like in Mario Galaxy for 3D All-Stars. That was fun. And then we have this super highly produced video of him showing off HD Rumble for the first time and the new colors. So I think, yeah, in the Switch reveal trailer, it was just, we just saw the gray ones, right? And then this showed the colorful ones, which is interesting actually, because the color, the neon red and neon blue are like so iconic for the Switch. When I think of Switch, I think of those colors, but the reveal trailer didn't even have them, now that I think about it. This is the first time we saw the sliders, the grips. Skip ahead here. HD Rumble with the ice cubes, and then later we see 1-2 Switch with Milk, of course. And I should say, before all this, there was a 4chan leak of someone setting up like the Nintendo Switch events that media were at, and Milk was one of the leaks, and everybody was just like, well, that has to be real. I remember the leak said that like ARMS was going to be a fantasy IP made by Platinum Games or something. Super Mario Odyssey's name was leaked there, so it's just a really fun night. If you were there, you know, like, it was a fun night to be a Nintendo fan, let's put it that way. Here's this one with Matthew McConaughey, I think, right? For revealing 1-2 Switch, which was the first game they show. And that is interesting, that 1-2 Switch is the first game they show. People were really, that's not Matthew McConaughey, that's just like some weird Matthew McConaughey lookalike. Anyway, people were really upset that they showed 1-2 Switch and ARMS first, because they look like casual party games, and everybody was like, Nintendo needs to go hardcore, they need to have their Metroid and their Zelda first, and then they showed party games. 1-2 Switch, obviously a divisive game, but it did end up selling quite well, so can't really fault them for this, and obviously very high quality trailers. It is a fun trailer, you have to admit. It's a fun trailer. Very colorful. But 1-2 Switch, of course, this is the first launch title we got seen here. Is there... Oh, it was a Wii U shot of Nintendo Land. I was confused. I was like, Nintendo Land? I want that on Switch, Nintendo. Give me that. Figure that one out. Skip ahead here. I think, yeah, this is ARMS. This is a really cool trailer, too, similar to that with two people facing off, and then they turn in their arms, and people... This was the moment we knew that leak was true, too, because, ARMS, obviously. But ARMS, man, I might do a video about ARMS 2 potentially happening soon. Let me know if you want to see that, because ARMS is really fun, in my opinion. A really underrated game. Everybody was making fun of it at the time. People still make fun of it. Sadly, it didn't quite have that staying power like Splatoon had. Here's the ARMS guy. I forget his name. Yabuki, that's his name, yeah. He explains how you hold that. Well, this is where they messed up with ARMS. They said that you would use the Joycon. No one wanted to use the Joycon. Show the Pro Controller doing that thing, and it would have done a little bit better in my opinion. No one wanted those motion controls. The motion controls in that game are not very good. Then we get the reveal of Splatoon 2. We already saw it in the Switch reveal trailer, the NX reveal trailer, but we didn't know if it was going to be a port necessarily or a sequel. But then they have the cool moment here at the very end. And, I mean, it really could have been, they really could have gone the way of calling it a port, honestly, if they really wanted to. It would have been a really damn good port, but I'm glad they didn't, because they eventually, after adding a year and a half worth of content, 2 years of content, it did end up becoming a confident thing there, a confident sequel. And then we have this guy, the legend. This is where we first really started seeing Hisashi Nogami. He does the pose here. I want those replicas, dude. That's what I want. Come on, do the pose. You know I'm here for the pose. Come on, do that pose, boy. Turn this up for you guys a little bit. I don't even really need to hear it. I want to see Splatoon 2. Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. This is iconic. This is one of the biggest memes that night. And of course, this year, 5 years later, we're getting Splatoon 3. That's crazy. God damn. Splatoon 2. Oh, it's so cheesy. I love it. And at this point, we were halfway through, so a lot of people were really like, oh god, what's going on here? But then this trailer comes on, and you're just like, okay, New Donk City, what's that? What's going on? What is this amazing game? And then you see Mario pop out, and you're like, holy shit, this game's going to be amazing. Open world Mario, GTA Mario, and then Odyssey ended up being one of the best 3D Marios ever made. So, speaks for itself. Honestly, I mean, smart of Nintendo to release Breath of the Wild and Odyssey in the same year, because it, you know, helped bolster Switch's first year lineup. But at the same time, had Odyssey been released a different year, it would have also won Game of the Year. Although, well, if it's 2018, God of War would have been a heavy competition. But, like, Breath of the Wild was obviously going to win, you know? I will say, the E3 trailer, the following year, E3 2017 trailer for this game, really good trailer. Definitely better than the reveal trailer. That's when we got the reveal of Cappy. We didn't even know about Cappy at this point being a thing, capture mechanics and all that. So we just thought it was like a really cool classical 3D Mario. And then we got Cappy, which was one of the best new mechanics they've added to Mario in a long time. But let's go ahead and skip ahead here. I mean, this is just iconic with this music, dude. What a good trailer. And then Koizumi comes out with the hat. And yeah, because they revealed the eyes, but we didn't know what that meant. We didn't know we could capture and possess other creatures. At the time when this, like, live tweeting, everybody was like, this has to be a launch title, and then Switch needs this for a launch title, and then obviously it's not a launch title, so everybody was disappointed. But I think in hindsight, like, dude, you have to look back at Switch's first year, and this reveal presentation and everything, like, they did it really well. At the time, people were so skeptical, like, oh, Switch is gonna fail, it's gonna be terrible. But in hindsight now, it's like, wow, they did a really good job. You have to admit that. And then this happened. At the time, I wasn't really a Monolith Soft fan yet. I hadn't played Xenoblade Chronicles. This trailer is a little crusty, I'm not gonna lie, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2, of course, got announced. Everybody was like, there's no way it's coming out until 2019 at the earliest, and at the time, I was just like, dude, they're confident, they know what they're doing. If they say 2017, it's gonna be 2017. And at the time, I was even saying, like, it's gonna be December 2017, but it's gonna be 2017. And, of course, I ended up being right there. Humble brag. But yeah, I mean, this is my favorite Switch game still, to this day, almost 5 years later. Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then this is a weird trailer, because the week after this, we got a Fire Emblem Direct, which was really weird. But this is all we get. We get some Fire Emblem orbs with swords, and the announcement of Fire Emblem Warriors, and it's just these icons. But then the next week, we actually saw some gameplay, I believe. And then I think all we see is, yeah, we see Chrom grabbing the sword, the falchion. Weird trailer. I guess they wanted to save it for the Fire Emblem Direct, but like they could have done both. It's a Warriors game. They didn't really need to hype that one up too much. But a Fire Emblem Warriors at the time was something everybody was expecting, so that wasn't too surprising. Then we see this image. This was an image that I think was going around beforehand. Everybody's freaking out about From Software being on there. Over 80 games on development. Like that's not even really worth bragging. There's like thousands of games on Switch eShop now. So then we get some Japanese stuff, which hurts. We did get the announcement of Dragon Quest 11, which actually that was already announced for the NX at the time, and then Dragon Quest 10 for Japan, and Heroes 1 and 2, which still never got an official US release. I don't believe. I think it came out in Europe maybe, but that never got released officially, even though there's PS4 versions with the translation. So that kind of sucks. I always wanted to play that. Then we get the announcement of a game that just came out a few months ago, Shin Megami Tensei 5, or I think it just says like Shin Megami Tensei Next or whatever, right? This is just a very pretty... I don't know if that, like, armored guy is, like, a main character in Shin Megami Tensei. I'm not too familiar with the series. I played 4 and loved it. But, this is a pretty generic Shin Megami Tensei trailer in all regards. It didn't really tell us anything. But then right after that, Square Enix hit us with another game, and this is something that's been pretty prevalent throughout the entire Switch's life. Of course, we have Project Triangle Strategy, or not Project, but Triangle Strategy coming out next month, or March, I believe, March 3rd, right? This is Project Octopath Traveler. Everybody was laughing at that name. That was great. I still need to play this. This game is beautiful, though. Did I skip? I skipped the entire trailer. But that HD 2D, man, that was hype. Because everybody's like, oh, HD Rumble, HD 2D, we thought they were connected or something. I don't know. But that game looks very beautiful, and it still does. I need to go back to it and play that and Bravely Default 2. I hope they still port Bravely Default and Bravely Second to the Switch. That'd be really good, because I missed those. Brand new RPG. Okay, yeah, he's talking about Octopath. Then the Sega guy comes out being like, we're going to support the Switch. And then Todd Howard comes out and says Skyrim's officially coming, even though we already knew that. I remember they were trying to say that the Skyrim that we saw in the Switch NX reveal trailer wasn't actually like confirming the game. Like, bro, come on, no, that's confirming the game. So Todd Howard confirming Skyrim. Then we have the infamous Suda 51 moment. This is so awkward, and it is definitely this whole section with Sega and then Todd Howard and then Suda. Then I think the EA guy comes out. Yeah. This whole section's definitely the down point of the entire conference. Suda basically comes out here and says, we make a new Travis game. Travis Touchdown will return. And then, of course, we got No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again, and then No More Heroes 3 2 years after that. I still need to play that. But that was very awkward with the translator trying to figure that out. I felt very bad for that translator. Peter Moore, is that his name? No, that's not Peter Moore. Peter Moore is the old guy. I forget what this guy's name is. Patrick Soderlund. That's it. How to remember it. But yeah, EA just saying, like, yeah, we're going to support the Switch, even though they haven't been releasing FIFA, have they? They did the first few years and then just stopped because it was the crappy Legacy editions. Then I think this is a sizzle reel. There were some new things in here. Of course, Sonic Forces. Steep! Remember Steep, guys? Classic. Oh, man, Steep. What a great Switch game that totally released. Of course, that's I think it's the only Switch game in this thing that is not out yet. Of course, it's because they canceled it. I don't think there's a single other Switch game now from the Switch presentation that isn't released 5 years later, only because Shin Megami Tensei finally came out, which is pretty funny. Skylanders Imaginators, Octopath, Dragon Quest Heroes. There's a game I really love that we found out in here, Rayman Legends. Lego City was announced here. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, I love that on Switch. Classic games, man. Is that Farming Simulator? Sky of 5 that was announced through this thing. That's this like Spelunky party game, or Spelunker party game, sorry. Or Skyrim. And then somewhere in here, there's that game Hasborn Heroes from Frozen Byte. I love that. That was my favorite Switch launch. That was just Flip Wars, classic. But yeah, Hasborn Heroes is a great like turn-based kind of roguelike if you're looking for something to go back to. Here's the first time I think we saw the battle mode for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They actually didn't announce Mario Kart 8 Deluxe through the event. We just saw a bunch of footage of it, and then in a press release afterward, they were like, okay, this is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And then they had this whole thing where they announced some more products, or I guess SKUs. And then Shibata comes out, says some stuff. And then Reggie says some stuff, good old Reggie. And they're like, okay, who's going to announce the release date for Breath of the Wild? Obviously, this is a big point of contention at the time. Would Breath of the Wild be a launch title, or would it be delayed to holiday 2017? Of course, it ended up being March. And this is, I'm not going to react to the whole thing here probably, but this is in my opinion, one of the best video game trailers of all time. Definitely. See, here's the thing. Everybody talks about best video game trailers. They always bring up one of the most prominent ones is the Twilight Princess reveal. In my opinion, and maybe it's because I wasn't there for Twilight Princess, this trailer squashes that. And this is without a crowd reaction. Like, the Twilight Princess trailer would be hype. It's still hype, but, like, it wouldn't be as hype without the crowd reaction. This is without a crowd reaction. This trailer is done so beautifully. At this point, we hadn't really seen that much of Breath of the Wild. We saw the Treehouse coverage where it was just the Great Plateau, which, as we know now, was nothing of the game. But just the music specifically, just the hype and the build-up, it builds up so much until the scene. Then we see, dude, they're just revealing so much. This is the first time we saw Zelda's design. We hear her voice acting for the first time, I believe, in this trailer. We saw all the champions. Everything I've done up until now was all for nothing. Like, it just felt like such a mature and, like, serious Zelda game, which, I mean, the story ended up being kind of lackluster through the past memories, but, like, oh my goodness. And then another ramp up here of, dude, this trailer... If you were there, you're there. If you know, you know. This trailer is absolutely masterclass. And I still get chills watching it. I'm not going to lie. Just seeing all the champions. Sidon. Like, we knew none of this stuff beforehand. We knew nothing about this game at this point. And now, of course, we're still discovering new stuff about the game with, like, glitches and stuff, which is crazy. But yeah, Breath of the Wild. Then there's this weird cut of, like, Link sleeping. And then it says March 3rd, 2017. But that is it, guys. That is the Switch presentation 2017 little recap reminiscing session I just wanted to do with you guys because oh man, yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to make this video with you guys and talk about the Switch presentation. I miss it, man. I miss the initial Switch hype, NX hype especially. At the time with the NX, we were all super like tired and just wanted to see the damn thing. But then when it was announced to the Switch presentation to release, and then now 5 years later, time has just flown by, and frankly, I mean, I as much as I love my Switch, as much as I want to keep seeing games for it, I am ready personally for the next console. I want to see what Nintendo does next. Obviously, I think they'll be building upon the Switch concept with a hybrid console, but that is it for today, guys. Let me know your favorite memories, I guess, of the Nintendo Switch launch and presentation and all that stuff. Where were you? Were you watching this thing live at the same time as me back then 5 years ago? And yeah, I just want to get a discussion going in the comments because, man, I'm so nostalgic for this presentation right now today because everybody's talking about it on Twitter. But if you enjoyed this video, please do not hesitate to share it around, subscribe, like it, all that fun stuff. I am trying to push this channel in 2022, make it something serious, make it something even kind of sustainable for myself. So I really appreciate the support. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.